Now, the first thing you're going to do when you're embarking on any sort of project in 3D is getting some reference, but certainly for a project like a self-portrait here, the more reference you have, the better. Now, Sana here normally wears glasses. One thing I would say if you're going to model someone with glasses is get them to take the glasses off, even though Sana hates me now for taking these photographs, so sorry Sana. But with the, you can see over here, if someone has glasses on, it becomes pretty impossible to actually model. So even if you're drawing a character or you're creating a character with glasses, they should also have think of the glasses as a separate thing. Otherwise, you're going to start modelling the face sort of based on the glasses. If that makes sense, it just influences the way you model. So I have these photographs, and what you're looking for is a side photo and a front photo, and a photo 45 degrees. This is a pretty important one because once you laid out the basic model, which I would call a sort of a tracing stage of really using the photographs as a reference, there comes a certain point where you need to start looking at your model and looking at this photograph and seeing where the differences lie, or why it doesn't look correct in certain places, and that's a level of observation. Also, taking a photograph with as little shadows as possible will help with the, although shadows are nice for bringing out features, it's confusing again. You could quite possibly have photographs with shadows that will help you modelling. They can actually help to define the areas of the face a little bit better, but that would be an extra rather than something I would recommend to work from. So once we've got our photographs, what we want to do then is sort of match up the size, and this is an extremely important part. Because if I do not get my front and side views matched up as best as I possibly can, I'm going to run into problems later with my model making when I have to make a decision as to using either the front or the side photograph as my permanent reference point. Otherwise I'm going to have things all over the place. So a little bit of care and attention at this stage means saves us a little problems later on. So what I'm going to do is just going to combine 45 degree one, doesn't matter, that one will just, we could use as it is, but that's not going to be part of this tutorial. And let's just get rid of these two. So I'm just going to deal with the front on and the side one on here. So I'll just simply use my move tool, drag it over onto the other one here, hold down the shift key and it will center automatically. These have very fortunately been done on green screen, so I can mark out the bottom, but it's very easy to do at home, although the key thing here is very strong lighting. There is two lights, professional quality lights on either side of this photograph, but if you do a photograph outside, or as much as anything to really keep the shadows down and keep the features here, or just read a little bit of paper you get when you have to get a passport, and that also tells you how to do it without shadows and all those sort of things. Not that we need that. Anyway, back to the tutorial. Right, okay, so what I want to do here is I want to cut out the background, the green background here. So I need to select the layer, go up to my color range here, click on the background. Now, here I've got the preview selection set to matte. You might also want to just zoom in and check, because I know actually, because I've already made a mistake on this one. You want to check that you're not removing things you don't want. There's a slight haze here. If I change the slider up, you'll see that the line is going to sharpen up. And then when I click OK, and that looks pretty okay with my selection there. And I can hit backspace. If I hit Z on the keyboard, do Alt, I can zoom out. Background here, I need to double click, otherwise it won't cut it away from my transparency. I'll switch the other one off, do the same thing, select, color range, just zoom in with the Control+ key, and just check my So it's the same settings in previous, so you can see it's got all the hairs in there nicely. Not that I actually need those, but I just don't want to cut any of the face off here. So then I can just hit backspace, that's good enough. If I do Control 0, zoom back out again. Control D, I'm actually working on the Mac here, but it's same thing, kind of. Right, so now what I want to do is straighten up the face. So I can use that using my rulers. If you don't see your rulers, then just go up to View, we've got rulers. Once I have the rulers in, I can then just drag one across. If I want to edit it, I can use the Move tool at the top here. So let's just zoom in on the face here. So with the CS5 now you can click and drag. So space bar for my little hand. Click and drag. Right, so now I want to just rotate the head here. So if I click on layer, do Control T. Now I don't actually see the handles for this one, but I can do it at the top here. So the handles will allow me to rotate it, but they're off screen. So another way to do it is just select up here, hold down the Control key over the box, and then simply start to rotate around here. I'm slightly off, but it's good. Let's just move my little. No, it's not gonna. I'll cancel that because I think it's still got to go a little bit further. Wrong way. It's better. Right, let's just do that, and I'll do another one in a minute. Let's just move this over. Now, I would say this side, I tend to work off the right hand side here. You can see on Santa's face it's quite a big difference. This one's in darkness, that one is. I don't know if it's because I'm right handed, but I will instinctively work this side, model this side of the face, and I think I have enough detail there. Although of course I could do it. It doesn't really make any difference what I'm doing now, but I'm just trying to find, you see, the symmetry of that face. Right, so what I also want to do, my battery's fallen out, there we go, bring down a horizontal line, and then you want to match up the eyes here, even though eyes aren't necessarily, again if I hit the Z key I can zoom in a little bit. And that looks pretty okay. If I go by the top of the lips here, get it sort of central there. But like I say, we're dealing with something here that people aren't symmetrical. We're simplifying the whole thing here. Right, okay, now is the crucial bit, because we want to make sure that these are nicely closed up. So what I'm lined up, so what I'm going to do first of all is I'm simply going to go to my crop tool. And we don't need a lot of this stuff, so if I just hold down Shift, I can drag. Just so Shift simply is going to give me a straight line, a square rather. And I think I'm just going to swap these layers around, so just drag this one underneath, it's a little bit easier to see. And go to the Transform tool. And it's just, oh, I've got the wrong one there. This is, I'd rather scale down the bigger one. So let's just cancel that and go to the top image here. I'll cancel that. Right, there we go. Click on this one, Control T, and might want to do the same thing, but let's first of all, let's just do that. See, it looks pretty good straight off, but in fact, let me just, oh, so that's okay. Right, let's just zoom in, because the more little markers you got here, the better, obviously. So the way I tend to do it is put a marker on the top of the eyebrow. That one is sometimes a bit, we can put here on the top of the eyelid, here on the bottom of the eyelid, here on the corner of the eye, and something with the bottom of the nose, So something like that. And I can see already here that some things line up and other things aren't, which is always a bit of an issue. And let's say the very bottom of the corner of the mouth there. And then of course we have the bottom of the chin. Now you've got to be careful with the chin because it's the actual kind of flesh goes in under here. It's hard, there's not really a hard line as such, so I'm kind of following this line down a little bit. And actually that one actually is okay. So I'd say this one's still a little bit too big, so I hit Alt on my zoom here, I can zoom out a little bit. And let's see whether I can just reduce this down even further. So let's just select that little piece there on that one, selecting verse. That's just going to get rid of any, basically just crop it down is another way of thinking of that one. Simply, so now the idea being if I do a transform, that my transform box now is small and I can actually see it. Because now I actually want to be a little bit more detailed here. So let's say pick a line. It's actually not too bad. Zoom in a bit. But really, it's at this stage you really want to make sure, double check this one, check again, because the better you make it, the more it's not looking too bad. I think I'm going to accept that one just because you don't want to listen to me umming and ahhing whether it's right or not. That's pretty okay, but I'm a bit worried about these lines here, and I've also got to start checking the ear. Now the ear is always a weird one because in my experience you never seem to match it up. It's always, and it's probably a sort of perspective thing. So really I'd take the side one as the one you would use for where the ear, basically because this one is not much use for reference anyway. So, and this is obviously going to be a true positioning of the ear here. But just the nostrils here and the lips, bottom of the chin, and of course the more I put in, the more, so I can put another one and try and predict where the centre of the pupil is, although it's about the same. Something on the bottom of the cheek here. Nostril, top of the nostril is also a good one to put in. Basically, the more I put in, the better. You've also got to understand that there's a completely different facial expression from the side than it is from looking at the front here. Okay, so you've done all of that, you've marked them all out, then it's simply a case of saving them out as PNGs. If I just go back to the original image here, we can then simply, in fact I can even crop this down even more. Let's just assign that one, move it across, and just for sort of good housekeeping, could even crop this down even further, something like that, keep them nice and central. Go to my crop tool again, hold down the shift key, crop it down. Let's see if you can move it up actually down to there, and shrink it down a little bit further. There we go. So then just save it out as a PNG file. That will keep our transparency. And then you have your reference for your model there. So I just want to line those ones up, maybe bring the picture over here. So you just say File, Save As. Make sure you've only got one of the pictures on here, and choose a PNG file, and then you're done.